You're watching WYLN TV 35. Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Julia Wiegand. It's back to school time, and the Wolf administration both welcomed and reminded students of new public health safety initiatives in place. Our Philip Kaufman has the details.
The Pennsylvania Departments of Education and Health welcomed students back at Mount Lebanon and reminded parents across the Commonwealth to ensure immunizations are up to date and the newly available public health safety initiatives.
I want to remind everyone that it's essential that everyone, especially children, are up to date on your recommended immunizations. Immunizations are a safe and effective way to protect yourself against a number of diseases that can be life-threatening.
Children in grades K through 12 need immunizations for things like tetanus, polio, hepatitis B, and chickenpox, and upon entering 7th grade, additional immunizations are required. If a child does not have at least one dose of the necessary immunizations, he or she might risk exclusion from school.
We know students and teachers across the Commonwealth are really looking forward to being together again. Let's all do everything we can to make sure they're safe while teaching, learning, and growing together throughout the school year.
Last week, both departments announced two important initiatives to support K-12 schools during the 2021-22 school year. Schools outside of Philadelphia County can now sign up to receive free weekly COVID-19 testing, and schools can now request COVID-19 vaccine providers to coordinate a vaccine clinic for the employees, contractors, volunteers, students, or students' families of the school.
School-based COVID-19 vaccine clinics are vital as we continue to fight the pandemic and as students, teachers, and staff return to classrooms and school buildings. And I encourage all schools to coordinate COVID-19 vaccination clinics for their communities as soon as possible.
Here at Mount Lebanon School District, universal masking is required for all individuals, regardless of vaccination status, while indoors in the district.
We know that in-person instruction is the strongest and most beneficial learning model for a large majority of our students. The district's goal for the 2021-22 school year is to maximize in-person learning and to minimize the disruptions caused by COVID outbreaks and community spread. We all share the responsibility to practice and model behaviors that have been shown to limit the spread of COVID-19 and encourage general health and wellness. We encourage families to remind students of the best practices, including hand washing, managing coughs and sneezing, monitoring personal health, and staying home if not feeling well.
For more information on immunizations, visit the Department of Health's website at www.health.pa.gov. Reporting for WYLN News, I'm Philip Kaufman.
Thank you, Phil. A Hanover Township woman infamously known for coughing and spitting on supermarket items during the height of the pandemic has been sentenced to serve time in prison. 37-year-old Margaret Ann Serco was accused of entering Garrity's supermarket along the Sanssouci Parkway back on March 25th of last year, where she was seen coughing and spitting on merchandise while yelling about having the coronavirus and that everyone was going to get sick. Serco pled guilty back in June to a felony count of making bomb threats. She was sentenced this morning in Luzerne County Court to spend 1 to 2 years behind bars, followed by 8 years probation. She was also ordered to pay nearly $30,000 in restitution. Council members in Weatherly voted yesterday to sell their former borough building. The iconic train station on Wilbur Street opened up back in 1889 and was turned into their borough building by 1977. Council decided to sell the 2,400 square foot building to Daniel Wong with a price tag of $125,000. Under the sale agreement, Wong has to maintain the facade of the station in order to keep its historic integrity. There's no word at this time as to what the building will be used for. A Carbon County road that was damaged during Sunday's rainstorm will remain closed for the next 4 to 8 weeks. According to PennDOT, River Road in Kidder Township just outside of Whitehaven subsided due to a busted drain pipe under the street. PennDOT applied for emergency permits to fix the road, but getting the materials could take some time. Crews will then have to replace the pipe and rebuild the road. In the meantime, motorists are being advised that a detour's been set up. A Schuylkill County man was taken to prison after a dispute in Tamaqua. Police were called to the area of 622 East Broad Street back on July 31st for a report of an argument. While on scene, they found 32-year-old Pedro Juan Rodriguez covered in blood, apparently from punching out a window. Police had to use force to place him under arrest when he was being uncooperative after he allegedly spit in the face of one of the officers and cursed at them. He was charged with aggravated assault, resisting arrest, public drunkenness, and disorderly conduct. He was taken to county prison for lack of $50,000 straight cash bail. A wanted Wilkes-Barre man was apprehended following a police chase in Luzerne County. A Plains Township police officer saw 34-year-old Jeremy Justin Sonny leaving a residence on North River Street Saturday night. Sonny was wanted by Wilkes-Barre police for allegedly threatening another man with a firearm earlier that day. A traffic stop was initiated, but Sonny took off at a high rate of speed. He led police to Wilkes-Barre General Hospital's parking lot, where he abandoned his vehicle and was quickly arrested in the parking garage. He was charged with illegal possession of a firearm, DUI, fleeing or eluding police, simple assault, and several traffic violations. He was taken to Luzerne County Prison for lack of $185,000 bail. A Philadelphia County man is wanted for failure to appear in court. 43-year-old Sean Booths was scheduled to be sentenced on Monday for allegedly sexually assaulting a minor from January 2017 to August of 2018. Booth's been free on bail since posting $200,000 through a bondsman after his arrest in August of 2018. Luzerne County Judge Joseph Sklarowski issued a warrant for his arrest yesterday when he failed to appear for his sentencing hearing. His bail has also been revoked. If anyone has information on his whereabouts, they're being asked to call 911. Local COVID-19 transmission rates will determine if schools within the Diocese of Scranton have indoor mask mandates for all students and staff this fall. According to their website, masks will be required when counties are in moderate, substantial, or high transmission designations. When masks are required, breaks will occur during the day, and students can remove them when eating or drinking. Masks are optional outdoors and should be worn in crowded outdoor settings when there is sustained close contact. Diocese students on school district buses will follow each district's mask policy. The diocese will not require vaccinations for staff and students, but highly recommend to everyone that's eligible to get vaccinated. The first day of school for diocese students is next Monday, August 30th. Luzerne County Council will consider a proposed payment in lieu of taxes suggested by a D.C.-based nonprofit to purchase and transform the Sherman Hills housing complex in Wilkes-Barre. Indelible Housing Incorporated is in the process of purchasing the low-income subsidized housing development at 300 Parkview Circle off Cole Street. The proposal states that the nonprofit would pay the county just over $86,000 per year, the county property tax owed by Sherman Hills in 2020. The nonprofit won't owe property taxes to the city, school district, or county, since it qualifies as a pure public charity, but proposed to make the pilot payment instead. Tonight's work session follows a 6 p.m. voting session, where the public can attend in person or visit LuzerneCounty.org to watch or participate remotely. The son of a truck driver turned international rock star has sadly passed away. Charlie Watts has been the longtime drummer for the Rolling Stones for more than 50 years. In 1962, Brian Jones formed the band with singer Mick Jagger, pianist Ian Stewart, and guitarists Keith Richards and Dick Taylor. Watts originally turned down the group's offer for him to join, but finally played his first gig with them in January of 1963. The Stones reached #1 on the British pop charts the very next year, and he continued to play with the Stones, most recently on the European leg of the band's No Filter tour in 2018. Charlie Watts was 80 years old and is survived by 3 of his longtime Stones bandmates. Coming up on WYLN News Friday night, Under the Lights. Plus, taking a look at that NL East with the Mets, Phillies, and more. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the WYLN Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
My name is LJ. I'm 9 years old, and tomorrow's gonna be sunny. I hope you have an amazing day.
We want your child to be our WYLN Weather Kid. Your child can be our feature weather reporter of the day on WYLN News and WYLN social media posts just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to teens. To find out how, go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the WYLN News Facebook page. Submit your Weather Kid video today. There's no better place to shoot than Whitetail Preserve. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 for more information. WYLN programming is online all the time. Visit our website at WYLNTV.com to check out archive shows and a live stream of our broadcasts. And don't forget to visit all of our social media pages for breaking news, weather, and sports. You can also head directly to our YouTube page for all our programming at youtube.com/WYLNTV35. Subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time there's a new show available online.
Hey guys, this is Ray Merrill from Blaze Alexander Buick GMC. If you're in the market for the truck, you better hurry up. They're selling like hotcakes. We have this one here.
That one's sold.
Okay. Or if you're looking for a sport utility, we have a huge selection of GMC, Buick Encore GXs, Buick Enclaves.
That one's sold too.
So don't forget, if you're in the market for a Buick or a GMC, come on down to Blaze Alexander Buick GMC in Greater Houston and find out where we take the deals. The other guys won't.
Our WYLN sports crew is gearing up to bring you game number 1 of our 2021 high school football season coverage schedule. We kick off with some live Comets Millionaires action this Friday, August 27th, when we travel to Mountaintop for Crestwood's home opener against Williamsport. Tune in for your Friday night fill of Marty Burns, Joe DeMelfi, and our WYLN sports crew, bringing you the event, not just the highlights. No plans Friday night? No problem. Got some? Well, cancel them. Instead, tune in for your weekly dose of Friday night football and all the live local action right here on WYLN TV. And WYLN's all-time OT hero, Marty Burns, has the in-depth analysis of what's happening on and off season across our viewing area. So, let's talk sports.
Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Sports here on WYLN, brought to you by Blaze Alexander Family Dealership, Hazleton. Let's look at that NL East. The New York Mets start a 3-game home set tonight against the San Francisco Giants. I want to make sure I get this right. Finishing a stretch of 13 games in a row versus the Los Angeles Dodgers and San Francisco Giants combined, including a West Coast trip out to San Francisco and Los Angeles. Phillies are going to be home tonight, starting a 2-game set against Tampa Bay before they have 4 against Arizona. Last week the Phillies were in Arizona, and now they get Arizona at home. Very similar to what the Mets had with the Dodgers and Giants. I just wish the schedule makers would do a much better job of separating these series. You know, you only get to play these teams outside of your division 6 times a year, 3 at home, 3 on the road. Sometimes you'll have 7 where it's 3 at home. In the Mets case, and they played the Dodgers for 4 in Los Angeles. So you would just hope that the schedule makers would spread things out a little bit. I remember the Phillies in April, they played their 6 games with St. Louis, and they were done with them before the month of April ended. I just wish that the schedule makers would mix things around a little bit better. I know it's a hard process, but I think they could do a better job of spacing out games with teams outside of your division. And now let's head it back to Julia.
Thanks, Marty. And coming up on Roaring Creek's News Choice, we're talking back to school safety on this Trooper Talk Tuesday. Plus, leading the way, part 2. Stay with us.
BLB Auto Sales, a division of Barbush Automotive. BLB has deals that can't be beat. They carry trucks, vans, SUVs, sedans, and sports cars, and all at the lowest prices. Barbush Automotive can handle all vehicle repairs since they do it all. Check out their specials: oil change and filter, just $19.95. Alignment, $49.95. Professional and good people. Call 570-454-7571.
Sacco Chiropractic, East Broad Street in Hazleton, has the healthcare you've been waiting for. Whether it's a chronic issue or something new, Sacco Chiropractic has the most up-to-date techniques and therapies to help with any ailment. From his days of playing football with the Cougars and then in college, Dr. Scott Sacco has an elite understanding of sports injuries and how to correct them. Whether you are an athlete, a weekend warrior, or a grandmother, we can help with multiple issues. Call today to see why relief is super, man. 570-497-4150.
What's on TV? Plenty. WYLN TV 35, the best in local programming.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
September 18th is the season kickoff at the Wilsey Center in Hazleton. Opening up the night, legendary vocalist Tony Angelo. And then one of the best party bands around, Ostrich Hat. Their high-energy show contains songs from every genre of popular music. Doors open at 6, show starts at 7. Tickets just $15 each. Get them online, wilseycenter.org, or in person at Boscov's at the Laurel Mall, the Melfi School of Music, the Hazleton Employees Credit Union. Don't miss this awesome kickoff event, September 18th.
Do you like craft beer? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about checking out a restaurant with a unique flavor or a crazy food challenge? These are just some of the things we are featuring on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. So, spend some time learning about great wine, great beer, and great food on WYLN TV 35.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Trooper Talk Tuesday here on WYLN. We are joined, as always, by State Trooper Anthony Petrosky. Welcome to the show.
Good to be here.
Folks, it's that time of the year again. Fall's kicking in, and that means one thing to be aware of on the roads and when you're out there, schools are back, and students are back in class this year especially. Students are actually back in class. They're actually going back to school. We will have in-class attendance, which means that there's going to be a few things, along with kids walking to school sometimes, or just traveling about, or being in school zone areas, and we'll talk about that, but also school buses on the road. And those are also something that I think a lot of people don't know the proper etiquette of how to handle a school bus situation. So why don't we start off first with the driving aspect of school buses. If you are behind a school bus, kind of that situation, what to be aware of, and how to handle any kind of like passing situation or anything like that.
Well, first off, knowing that school's going to be back in session, the buses are going to be on the road, plan ahead. because if you drive a certain way to work and you get stuck behind these buses, your ride's going to take longer. Yeah. So plan ahead. You're going to have to leave a little bit earlier. That might save you a lot of time. So make sure you plan ahead. We say that all the time in these segments, right? It's the truth. But as far as buses go, a couple things you have to be aware of. Number one, you have to be aware that they're going to stop frequently. And when you see that arm swing out and those lights come on, you have to give a 10-foot buffer zone. This allows for children to go to and from the bus. We have a responsibility as drivers. We have to be aware of all the surroundings around us, okay? That includes children getting on and departing from a bus. Know that they're going to be out there, especially on the way home. When they're going to school in the morning, they're not so anxious to get on the bus, but when they're running home, they're running off that bus, right? We have to be aware of them. Slow down in these bus stop zones. You know where they are, especially around your home. Slow down, allow that 10-foot buffer zone. Do not pass a school bus. Do not pass a school bus. You will get cited for that. It's not a debate. Yeah. You will get cited for that. And again, the reason why you have to stop is because a child could be walking across the street. You do not want to hit a child with your car. We have to be safe. We know that the buses are going to be out there. We know that the kids are going to be out there. Plan ahead, allow extra travel time, and make sure you stop for these buses.
And that kind of transitions us to just sometimes kids are walking around school. I know around this area, I mean, we have the castle nearby. Kids just can walk from their house to those areas. How should people be aware, of kids on the street? And then on top of it, driving through school zones where kids are most definitely walking out of the school.
Yes, number one, obey the speed limit in case you need to stop abruptly. And number two, don't assume that kids are going to go to a crosswalk and cross the road safely. Don't assume that. We have to be defensive as a driver. So you have to be aware that kids are walking. I'm going to take it slow in case I need to stop if one of the kids walks out onto the road, because they may, right or wrong, they may. And as a licensed driver in Pennsylvania, we have to be aware of that. We have to be able to stop our vehicle in case we need to.
And kind of other safety tips for people, when it comes to being back to school, whether it's the people who are out there not going to school or whether it's for the kids and parents who are going to school.
Yeah, parents, you need to tell your kids they need to stay at the bus stop on the side of the road, not be playing out on the road, and don't cross until that bus comes to a complete stop and has the stoplight out and the lights on the bus. Then they could go across the road and get on the bus. Don't be running out on the road, kids. Wait until that bus stops. And drivers, allow extra travel time. If you leave a little bit earlier, you're probably going to be out there before the buses even come out. It's going to make your ride to work a lot better, trust me.
All right, folks, just be safe out there as school gets back in session. Remember, do not pass a bus. Be safe, plan ahead. I know for me personally, I come here through a certain way, and I know that I run into buses on their way back and forth between the schools. So I know I'll be planning ahead.
Absolutely.
So thank you for talking with us.
My pleasure.
And thank you, folks, for joining us here on Trooper Talk Tuesday on WYLN.
All Care Home Care, providing quality in home care since 1986. Call and see how their team of licensed physical therapists, skilled nurses, speech, and occupational therapists can provide you with exceptional service in the comfort of your own home. They also offer dietitian, home health aide, and medical social worker services. You have a choice in your health care. For safe, friendly, qualified care, call All Care Home Care today and let their team begin taking care of you and your loved ones.
SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialists, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
Something is out there. What it is, no one knows. However, since its first sighting, there have been numerous reports of strange lights in the night sky. Some say they are extraterrestrials, flying saucers. But to all of those seemingly unrelated uncertainties, there is one common thread.
Solo Spaceman on WYLN TV 35. Thursdays at 1:30, Saturdays at 4, Sundays at 9. There's no better place to shoot than Whitetail Preserve. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 for more information. WYLN CA35's children's programming is designed with the specific purpose of serving the educational and informational needs of children. In compliance with FCC guidelines, a copy of the Children's Programming Report is on file for public inspection at WYLN 1057 East 10th Street in Hazleton, Pennsylvania during normal business hours. To view the report online, visit fcc.org.
WYLN's going behind the scenes to learn more about the lives and goals of our local leaders. So, Mike Camisa is leading the way again into part 2 of this week's series.
And welcome back to this week's Leading the Way with Mike Camisa. So, tell us about, we were just talking about your education, and you went to get into politics, you worked for Lou for a little while. How did that then transition from getting your master's degree to where you are now with ICS?
Yeah, so after I worked for Congressman Barletta in DC, I was still attending DeSales University, so I was interning in the summer there. And I knew that I wanted to do something else. I was really interested in international affairs. So I got an incredible opportunity to go out and work for Texas A&M University, and they paid for my graduate school. So it was,
wow.
Yeah, so I worked as a hall director, so I oversaw a housing complex and freshmen and sophomore students while going to school, so I worked full-time there. And then I felt a calling to come back home. This is where I grew up. I absolutely loved northeastern Pennsylvania. My family's still here. My dad still has his business here. So I moved back. I got back involved in that, and my uncle owned a restaurant, Bottlenecks, at the time, so I helped out there. And then some people suggested I run for political office. So some people may have known that I ran for Congress as a Republican against Matt Cartwright. I wasn't entirely successful there, but I learned a lot, and that kind of set me on the path of where I am here today at Emmanuel Christian School. They realized that they've been growing and they need someone to go out into the community and do some development and networking. So they kind of recruited me. I've learned about them through Rotary. I'm actually heavily involved in the Hazleton Rotary Club. I'm the membership director. So if anyone out there is looking to join a service organization, they can give me a call. But yeah, so now I'm with Emmanuel Christian School, and I do their development, community outreach, and attend functions and try to raise some money for low-income families.
All right, folks. Check back tomorrow night as Mike continues leading the way into part 3 of this week's segment. Good night.
And that's the news. Remember, the source matters now more than ever. Catch all the latest on our Facebook page, YouTube page, or at WYLNTV.com. Stay with us. A look at today's weather is next, right here on WYLN TV.